And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
More like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Luther Arnold. Okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How do you do it?
I mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this.
time,
with
when,
you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny and start laughing.
Do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It is hump day. Oh my God. I feel like this is the longest week in the history of weeks. I'm just going to be straight funky with y'all. I am very happy to be here. Just to be completely honest, I'm very happy to be here and not be running around. The past 48 hours have been a very busy one for myself, and I'm sure it's been a busy one for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of business, taking care of your kids, taking care of your loved ones, etc. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Wednesday. Today's show is going to be a fairly short one, shorter than it's usually been. Lately, we've been, clocking at, 3 hours at sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's been amazing. But at the same time, today, unfortunately, I have to take care of some things outside of this room that have nothing to do with the show, unfortunately. So, today's show will be fairly short. I hope you guys will understand that. I will be on tonight. I promise you, I will be on tonight, and I'm going to do an interesting hybrid of things, okay? Tonight's show is going to be two different things. One, I'm going to do part of it as a open show for people who are not members, etc. But then I'm going to turn on the member feature in the middle of the show. So then I have a members only feature on the last half of the show, so we can sit there. People who are members can Skype in, etc., and we can all hang out. Because I missed today's last night's show, I had to deal with some stuff, some family stuff. And so, So long story short, tonight's show is going to be a hybrid. Because I want to get you guys, I want you guys to have your, a chance to hang out, talk to me, chop it up, etc. But then, and of course, cover things that we may have missed throughout the day. And then tomorrow, in the last half of the show, I will turn on the membership feature, so we can chop it up, hang out with the fam and all that. By the way, this is an opportunity for a shameless plug. Why not? Before I introduce my co-host and everything today, shameless plug. There's that join button down below. In case you didn't know, okay? Hit that join button. For $5 a month, you are helping fuel this engine called the Pascal Show, helping it keep running and keep moving, which is something that we would really, really appreciate. And of course, it gives you certain amenities like tonight's show. The second half of the show is going to be for members only. So definitely you want to hit that join button as quickly as you can and help support the show and get these added added little bonuses that you're getting, for $5 a month. So anyway, shameless plug is out of the way. David's in the house. What's a guan, bruh?
Hey man, not much. It's pretty good here. The weather's been crazy. Take Jack's spot on this one because yesterday it was like 70 degrees, and this morning it was 20 degrees. So I'm glad I didn't. I was going to connect my AC yesterday, but then we got a freeze warning. So I'm glad I didn't do it because it could have popped the water line.
Yeah.
They keep telling us it's done with being cold, and then we get another night of freezing. And like all the AC units out here require water to run, so you got to wait until it doesn't freeze, or it might just pop that thing.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That really, really sucks. But, glad to see you here. You know what I'm saying? Do me a favor and angle your camera down a little bit more, so we have more of your head rather than all. There we go. Ba-boom. There's the face. The full face, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yay. David's back in the house. That's David. See what I'm saying? What we just talked to a second ago wasn't David. That was like the gnome version of David. You know what I'm saying? This is David. How you doing?
Good, man.
Glad to see you back. There was somebody else in the room that was talking about water and the AC unit and all that. Who the hell was that? Now we're talking to you. How you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm just giving you hell because I can. Anyway. There is so much to talk about today, y'all. So much. There's a lot of things that we need to cover, like, for example, the Derek Chauvin. I swear to God, I need to figure out how his name is properly pronounced, because I've been hearing it Chauvin, Shaven. I don't know. I've been hearing it being pronounced so many different ways, and I'm like, what is the proper way of pronouncing this piece of human garbage name? But respectfully, I'm trying to be respectful to a piece of garbage. But anyway, that's what I'd like to know. But anyway, Derek Chauvin's trial, there's been a lot of things going off over there, and it's been going crazy. We definitely have to cover that, talk about that a little bit, because man, there were some testimonies that were just mind-blowing. Actually, there was one in particular that I thought was really amazing, so we will be talking about that here very, very shortly. Of course, I'm going a little bit backwards, so go with me, guys. Steven Crowder and his channel. Isn't it funny? I'm just going to say this really quick before I go and finish the title. Isn't it funny? We just talked about Steven Crowder yesterday. In yesterday morning show, which was wild. And then all of a sudden, this story comes out the very day. I feel like we predicted something there. You know what I'm saying? A little Steven Crowder getting demonetized indefinitely, y'all. Steven Mother-loving Crowder has been demonetized from YouTube indefinitely. We will be talking about that here, of course. He does actually have a 4-minute response video to this whole situation, so we will be checking that out as well. And then, of course, our top story of the day, Representative Gaetz is under a lot of allegations right now. One of them in which is sexual assault or allegations of dating an underage woman, an underage girl, sorry. You can't say underage woman. That doesn't make any sense now, does it? You know what I'm saying? If she's underage, then she's still a girl, not a woman. But he was treating her like a woman, allegedly. Actually, David's got the story. What's a guan, bruh?
All right, so this is definitely a messy situation going on here.
Oh, it's messy as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, it's messy. Woo, it's messy, baby. And there's a video I want to show you guys because it's hilarious. It's on Tucker Carlson's show. It's just, you just got to see this. But anyway, continue the story, my brother.
All right. All right, so the person we're talking about is Representative Matt Gaetz. He's a Republican from Florida. He worked with Trump in the past as well. And right now he's being investigated by the Justice Department because they're still looking into it, but there's suspicion that he had a sexual relationship with the 17-year-old and paid for her to fly with him across state lines, which is illegal because she's underage. So it's arguably kidnapping. But either way if she's underage. And he, by the way, is 38, so he's not close to 18 at all. And so there's
not
not
by
really
a long shot.
Not by a long
not
shot.
by a
man.
long shot, bro. Hold up. I'm keep telling the story. I'm pulling up his face so y'all can see this guy's muggly ass face. Anyway,
So, two of the people they, I guess the FBI, two of the people that they investigated said that he had encounters with the 17-year-old girl 2 years ago, and they're still looking into that information. So 2 years ago he was 36, but she was still 17, so still a huge difference. It doesn't really make a difference.
He really loves that song. She's only 17. That's probably his song. That's probably his jam right now.
Seems like it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just in case you don't know who Gaetz is, what he looks like. This is what he looks like. Real talk. Skadoosh. He looks like a cartoon character. He really does. That's Gaetz. Representative Gaetz. Continue. Sorry. This is bad.
So the investigation began because they were initially looking into a local official in Florida named Joel Greenberg, who was indicted last summer on a bunch of charges, including sex trafficking of a child and financially supporting people in exchange for sex, at least one of whom was an underage girl. Mr. Greenberg since resigned. He was a tax collector in Seminole County, which is in Florida, and he visited the White House and Mr. Gaetz, Representative Gaetz, just last year, as a matter of fact. So they still had a close relationship. It's not really clear how much Gaetz is involved in all of this. The Justice Department and the FBI haven't actually released exactly what they're charging him for. According to Gaetz, he's not actually the target, but he says, "I only know that it has to do with women." He's talking about the investigation. "I have a suspicion that someone is trying to recategorize my generosity to ex-girlfriends as something more untoward." And he called the investigations part of a scheme involving false sex allegations, and claiming that it's part of an act to extort him and his family for $25 million. And they said that he claims that his father's wearing a wire, even. I don't know how much that's true because the FBI hasn't confirmed any of that or said anything of that nature. So the only source for that information is Gaetz himself. So I haven't been able to find anything to verify that. So the FBI will probably release it a little later if he's being charged. But right now there is not a release on exactly what they've discovered so far. However, in another interview on Tuesday, he also said that he will not resign, and he denied that he ever had a romantic relationship with minors.
So he's pulling a Cuomo. Okay.
Yeah.
He's pulling
And
a Cuomo.
so far, the Justice Department and the FBI, like I said, did not comment. New York Times and a few others and Fox News have tried to get information from them. They won't release it yet, so it'll probably come soon if they don't just cover it up. I mean, because the FBI is investigating it, so it's not unusual for them to wait until they're ready to place a charge before you hear all the information and evidence that they have found. I do hope they're not just ignoring it, though. In either case, Mr. Greenberg, his associate, accused of raping underage girls, was pleaded not guilty last year, but he's been in jail for violating his bail, and he's going to trial in June. So Gaetz, basically, like I said, he continues to deny this. He's worked with a lot of people that are suspicious about such things, like Roger Stone and a few others, as well as Greenberg, like I said. That's the thing that initially caught their attention about him. Right now, he's kind of considered a villain amongst everyone there, unsurprisingly. He's done other things too. This isn't the first thing he's done to annoy people. He invited Holocaust deniers before to the State of the Union address a couple years ago, 3 years ago or something like that. And then when he was one of the people who barged past Capitol Police into the House Intelligence Committee to break up the investigation of Trump during the impeachment, which was illegal because it was the House Intelligence Committee is not open to everyone. You have to have specific clearances, so they're not even allowed to hear all that information. But he came in to prevent, with a few other Republicans, to prevent people from continuing that investigation and that trial. And he defended all the claims about fraud and all that. So, he's already been in controversy before. But this is obviously a huge new part. He's claiming it's extortion of some sort, but he's not saying from who or how or why. or why it even matters if the information is entirely false. But however, the FBI doesn't seem to think it's entirely false because he is being investigated as a subject, but not the target of the sex trafficking. So it's quite possible they will find he's involved. Even though he's not the one they're directly targeting, he's tied up into the mess with Mr. Greenberg, or with Greenberg. And so if he is related to that, it's most likely going to come out. However, the main thing they're focusing on right now is the fact that he flew over state lines with a 17-year-old, which has been verified by multiple witnesses. And the FBI is still investigating to find out the individual that he traveled with to verify her age. They may have actually already contacted her. They just haven't released it yet. But they are planning to talk to this the then 17-year-old. She should be 19 now. So she can be interviewed on her own. So they should be interviewing her as an adult.
Right on.
I would expect.
Hold that thought. Let me get this phone call really quick. Hey, you're on the mic with the Pascal Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, man, this is Anthony. I'm calling from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes, Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's up, man? I see that. I saw that you called earlier. So what's up, man? You're calling about what?
Yeah, I called because I found one of your cache eggs out there in Roosevelt Park. You had hidden it on Facebook, saying that you were out there Pokemon hunting.
Yes, Wildlife Command Center has put out a treasure hunt out in New Mexico. So what is the number?
You want the number on it, the serial number?
Yes, there should be like a kind of like a
PF. It's a slip of paper. It says PF 68403861B.
Yes, congratulations, man. Okay, so what you need to do for me is that you need to text this number your information. I will make sure that it gets to the right people so that they can give you your prize, your money.
Cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah, man. So, like, just really quick, Wildlife Command Center has been putting out these treasure pieces all over the place. And so, yes, he happened to find one right now in New Mexico. So congratulations again on your winnings, man. So just text me your phone number, your information, and I'll make sure that Wildlife Command Center's Bare Hands Baran gets a hold of you. You saw the video, right? You saw the actual from Bare Hands Baran, correct?
I saw it posted on the Albuquerque Pokemon site that he follows, and I went out there.
Awesome, man.
And I went with my dog, took a little walk, got some exercise, and hey, quickest $100 for walking my dog.
No kidding, man. That's amazing. Congratulations. Text me that information. We'll make sure it gets to the proper people, and they'll contact you and how you can get your money. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will do that right now.
All right. Bye-bye. Yes, sorry for that random left turn. Usually people who are calling in for the treasure hunt need to call in during my live show, but I wasn't live yesterday, so last night. So I think that a lot of people are, trying to, or he was trying to call yesterday, but had to get that taken care of course. So anyway, so congratulations to that guy. By the way, for those of y'all that don't know, Wildlife Command Center has been doing a treasure hunt, and they've been putting out random eggs, like little eggs filled with possible money in them, everywhere around those things, right? Everywhere around in the country. And so every week he's been putting out a video telling people, hey, these are the hints on where you can get to this Easter egg or to this egg that's being hidden in certain places. So it's a fun little treasure hunt. You guys should go and check it out. Check out Wildlife Command Center's YouTube channel, Wildlife Command Center, again, on their YouTube channel, and they have all that information. Obviously, New Mexico is already taken over, but if I'm correct, I think Las Vegas is still open. Las Vegas is still out there, just sitting around. So, congratulations to the winner. We can get back to our story. Let's continue, man. So, from my understanding, this woman, the girl that was 17 at the time, is now 19 years old, but she's supposed to be coming in and saying, like, testifying or speaking on behalf of her experience with dating Representative Gaetz, correct?
Yes.
Now, what's funny is there is another video. I'm trying to find it, actually, because it's hilarious. There's a video where I had it, and then, of course, you know how it is. It goes bye-bye so quickly and everything. Information goes so fast. There is a video of Gaetz on Tucker Carlson's show, basically throwing Tucker Carlson kind of under the bus, and it's absolutely hilarious. Hold on one second. Yep, there it is. There it is.
That actually you and I...
This is hilarious. It's just look at Tucker Carlson's face. The entire video. Forget what Gaetz is even saying. I mean, listen to what Gaetz is saying, but you just got to see the look on this dude's face. It's bloody hilarious. Look at Tucker's face. Just look at his face.
Again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play scheme, that she could face trouble. And so I do believe that there are people at the Department of Justice who are trying to smear me, providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime. And I'm just troubled that the lack of any sort of legitimate investigation into me would then convert into this extortion attempt.
Dude is frozen.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all.
Do you hear that? He just said, hold up, let me make sure I got you hooked up, man. I just realized that. Hold on. It's like that one last thing you forget to do every single show. No, real talk.
Only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Permute would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But
he's sitting there going, is he man, how dare he throw me on the... Look at this. Look at this face. Look at his... He's scowling. He's like, how dare you throw me under the bus? How dare you throw me under the bus? You're about to what? You saying that you went with... No, I don't remember any of that. What are you talking about? Don't put me in the same room with you with some underage girl. Are you crazy? Bruh. Classic.
And permute would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But
I'm sorry. It's too funny not to laugh at. You know what I'm saying? It is. But that actually happened on this show. As they are talking about this, he literally tries to throw Tucker Carlson under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Now over them says that's just his face. Well, then maybe he has resting scowl face. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But still, it is really
to me like
funny.
He was getting angry or something throughout the video.
Yeah.
His face just kept getting redder and brighter. That means he's obviously angry about something or like confused, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You know, and I understand he's concerned. He's obviously talking to Gaetz about sex trafficking, the allegations of sex trafficking. So he has that look on his face like he is concerned. But at the same time, he stays frozen for a while. And you can see in his mind, it's the wheels are turning. He's kind of going, wait a second. Was I there? Was I in the same room with him? I don't remember being in the same room with him. Hold on. Are you sure about that? I don't remember any of that, bro. Sorry, man.
That is one of the tricks. Like he comes in saying, you'll remember this. Like that is one of those tricks to make people think they remember something that didn't happen. So I could definitely I wouldn't be surprised either way if he was involved, but it does seem very likely, based on the other things he said, that Gaetz is just trying to confuse him, or maybe to get an alibi.
Now, from my
Or something like
understanding,
that.
so my understanding that is that the legal age, the youngest age that you can date, right, is 18 years old in the state of Florida, right? So still, no matter what, even if he was in the state of Florida dating this 17-year-old girl, that is still him breaking the law. Doesn't matter. If he went, but I don't, and I'm trying to think of other places. I'm trying to think of other states that actually allow the age of 17 to be the age. You see what I'm saying? Because there are some states that are 17 years old, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's a few, I think, or at least there used to be. One of the things is, and let me bring this up so I get it right. Okay, the age of consent in Florida is 18, and it has the Romeo and Juliet law, which you see in a lot of states, where if you're 16 or 17, it's legally allowed to have sex with someone up to the age of 23. Anyone older than that, and it's a felony at that point. But if it's like 17 to 23, that's legal. Anyone over 23 cannot date anyone that is 16 or 17.
Wow.
In Florida.
So a 17-year-old can date as old as a 23-year-old, right?
Yes.
And that's legal.
They can have sex with them, not just date.
Okay, but I mean, you can. But yeah, that's what I meant. But you can still. You can still do what you need to do. Right?
Yeah.
The oldest age. So if somebody is 28 and you date a 17-year-old, that is against the law. That is breaking the law. Even if there's consent. Correct?
And also, yes.
Okay.
And there's the additional factor that he crossed state lines, which makes it subject to federal law, which says that you cannot, anyone over 18 cannot have sex with anyone 18 or under. Or 17 and under. So just by that, he broke the federal law via taking her across state lines if he was involved with a relationship with her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, he broke a federal law and a state law if that actually happened. So he's caught both ways. The federal government can charge him, and the state of Florida can charge him as well.
That's crazy. Because the funny thing is like, why couldn't he have just, because obviously these are all allegations right now, right? This is all alleged. If he really wanted to date that person, why didn't he just wait it out? There's plenty of other people he could talk to. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other things, you know what I mean, that he could occupy his time with. You see what I'm saying? He could have waited if it was really something. But obviously that person, it's not like he's not marrying this person. His fiancée is of legal age, at least. I don't know her actual age, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Unless that woman was being sex trafficked, which is a possibility too. And the funny thing is that the idea of sex trafficking is very vast. The way we automatically think of it is, oh, she came from another country. She was brought in this country to be a sex worker or to do things under certain people's commands. No, sex traffic can mean so many different things now. From what I'm understanding with the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein cases that are going on, these women, these girls that are being trafficked, I mean, they're not being trafficked. They're still in America. They're still a lot of times in their own states. They're just being sent to people's places to do sexual acts or do sexual things to that particular person. So it's funny how much, at least in my mind, it's just interesting how in my mind how we all think what sex trafficking is, right? In my mind, I think it's like, oh, she was kidnapped from Japan and now she's here. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. You feel me? But it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more vast than that. So you never know. That girl, that 17-year-old girl that he was with, could have just been sex trafficked. Could have been Epsteined. But it could have been under Gaetz' surveillance or something like that. Or under his rule, if that makes any sense. Under his leadership. Or he could be working with somebody else, or there could be something much bigger going on. I mean, as much as we don't know, it's very interesting how much really is going on, especially in politics, in the political world, in the political realm. It's crazy how much is going on in there. There's a lot of, she's a worker. You know what I mean? But you don't really know what she does, but everybody else knows what she does. Everyone knows why she's with that particular senator hanging on his arm, as an ornament or eye candy, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that actually does happen. And that's wild. Now Gaetz, who looks like a televangelist. I swear to God, he looks like a televangelist. To me, he does. He looks creepy. He just looks creepy to me.
Yeah.
No, just said, I use his jaw to open a bottle of wine. Bruh, I'm done. And then Kiki said earlier, Tucker looks like the look on Tucker's face looked like pineapples, effing pineapples. That's hilarious too. Absolutely. Throughout that entire, you were there. I was there. We were all there with that underage girl. Remember? We were hanging out, having dinner. You don't remember that? Hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall that at all. So I'm going to deny as much as I bloody can. Well, obviously that story is still unfolding. That stuff is going to keep coming out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure this dude, Gaetz, he's going to sit there and say, if I'm going down, a whole bunch of other people are going down with me. Watch. They keep saying, as they say, draining the swamp. Maybe he was talking about the Republican Party. It's gonna be bad.
A
lot of people are gonna go down
now.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are gonna be going down. Real talk. It's going down, y'all. Real talk. It's going down. So we got to jump into the next story, y'all. Unfortunately, we got to get into that next story. Now, this is something that I found very, very interesting, y'all. And then, of course, we're going to be getting into the Derek Chauvin trial highlights because there's a lot that happened. So this will be a very quick story because, the Derek Chauvin story trial is very meaty. And there's a lot going on there. The trial is still going on right now as we speak. So there's more and more stuff coming out as they are cross-examining these witnesses and these eyewitnesses and all that. So we will get into that story here very shortly. But as a short little conversation, it's funny because we talked about this. We talked about this on the show yesterday. I kid you not. Yesterday morning show, we talked about this. Steven Crowder has officially been demonetized from YouTube. YouTube has taken his money, has grabbed his bag. Real talk. Hold on. What the heck? Okay. He has been kicked out monetarily. Money-wise. He is no longer doing his show and making money off of his show anymore. And that is real freaking talk. Let me get this here. Boom. There it is. So after being suspended from YouTube, Steven Crowder announces his plan to evade it via his other YouTube channel. So as much as shout out to Debbie who watches the show and is a supporter of the show, and a slew of other people who have watched the show, a lot of them have said, hey, Pascal, this has happened to you before too. Be sure to make another channel so that you can keep posting videos, so that you can make videos. I've already done that. The YouTube channel does exist. It's called The Pascal Show Clips for now. Is called that. So please go and hit that subscribe button over there, because my fear is something like this could happen to me too in the future, which sucks. I'm laughing at it right now because I'm not a fan of Crowder, like at all, whatsoever. Especially after even more. I mean, I've never been a fan of him, but I don't like him even more after a video that he did where he was just spouting out a whole bunch of racist jokes, thinking that he was being funny. To me, it wasn't funny, right? To a lot of people, it wasn't funny. He was basically making fun of black farmers, or farmers of color. And he just did everything he could to make it try to be funny. I've never thought this guy was funny. I've never thought that he was anybody that the conservative or the Republican side ever leaned toward and said, yes, we stand with Steven Crowder. I just don't think he's a funny guy. I think he's kind of trash, in my personal opinion. He says he's a commentator, but I don't feel like he's not really commentating on things. Yes, Mr. Super, he's a provocateur. And I get that. I totally get that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you watch some of his stuff and you're like, okay, this is really interesting. So on March 30th, YouTube host Steven Crowder announced that YouTube has demonetized and suspended one of his accounts for a week. So his main channel is going to be off. Kind of like what happened to me. Real talk. And I'm a little guy. I'm a little show. I'm a little channel. You know what I mean? His channel got demonetized. Boop. Flatline. Nada. Zippity-doo-dah. Dead. Okay? Dead. And he won't be able to do anything. And on top of that, he's indefinitely demonetized for the foreseeable future. Crazy. At least I didn't get demonetized. Thank you, Jesus. Okay? But it's crazy, right? So Crowder first announced this on in an Instagram post, and his co-host also made announcements on Twitter. He has already stated that his intention to evade this suspension. In a video posted later in the day, Crowder announced his plan to live stream episodes on his Crowder Bits channel. Okay, let's take a look at this video right quick. This is him addressing to the world.
Hey there, Crowder Bits. I think this is the first time I've ever done a cell phone video to Crowder Bits. And for those of you who don't know, that's because I've been suspended from YouTube, I guess banned temporarily. Just logged into my email yesterday to find out that we had a strike that wasn't a real strike before for our COVID anniversary video, 15 days to flatten the curve. All the sources are available at loudwithcrowder.com, including the CDC and WHO, which apparently is fake news, can't be used now. And yesterday, YouTube considered it a community guideline strike and took down our episode where we specifically visited a... And I want to be clear about this here. We've never alleged that the election was won by Donald Trump.
Yet a lot of his episodes were him alleging that the such and such was ripped out of people's hands. Because even so, I can't even say certain things myself. I can't even say certain things myself. This is the world that we live in right now. We can't even say certain things, right? Now, let me let him finish, but he was violating things. I'm sorry. If you've seen his show, he does, some of his thumbnails will say those things, etc. So he's not really telling entirely the truth here, but go ahead.
Because we can't. We've never alleged that there was widespread voter fraud that changed the outcome of the election, because we can't. You're also not even allowed to express an opinion to that extent.
Yes, and that is a gun holster.
But what was removed was a Nevada episode where we actually sent employees to locations where we looked at voter rolls, cross-referenced them with deliverable addresses, and took video with a copy of that day's paper at those addresses to say that there is at least some brokenness in the capacity as it relates to those addresses.
Now, the funny thing is that he did do that video. That is very real. He did do that. It was interesting. A lot of people think that it was fake. A lot of people say that it was a planned out video. People are saying that it wasn't. There's a lot of other people like his team that are sitting there going, no, it was actually real, etc. Now, the funny thing is that, the whole purpose of that video was to try to debunk debunk any person that was trying to debunk such and such. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, I can't even say it on this show without getting in trouble, without the fear of getting blocked or in trouble. So I have to even keep my mouth shut, which sucks. What I'm about to tell you guys here, as soon as this video is done, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but I want you guys to hear what he has to say, at least the meat and potatoes of it. You'll be surprised what I have to say.
That is now considered a violation of YouTube's guidelines. So I want to be really clear about something here. Well, first off, we'll be streaming here exclusively at Crowder Bits tomorrow and Friday, and I think we'll be able to stream and post again to the main channel next week. Half Asian Kraken is reaching out. Look, YouTube is past the point now here of saying, well, you can say one thing, well, you can't say that. That's controversial. Well, maybe that's hate. None of these violations are considered hate speech. YouTube is making it clear in no uncertain terms that conservative opinions, dissenting opinions, as it relates to COVID or the election, are not welcome on their platform. Investigative journalism is not welcome on their platform, which, by the way, is the single biggest media platform that has ever existed. It is the town square. I tweet about it, but I'm suspended from there too with no cause. So let's be clear about what this means for you. All right, COVID. Have I ever been an anti-masker? No. As a matter of fact, we were selling masks partnered with Jocko in Origin, Maine early on when the CDC was saying that you shouldn't wear masks. We've questioned the efficacy of states that have lockdowns and double mask mandates. Have we ever been anti-vax? No. No, we have not. We've said that we need to protect the most vulnerable, the elderly among us. We even held a protest in Michigan to say that we oppose Whitmer's senior living. I know Joe Lewis. He sees me getting all. Look, I got Joe Lewis here, and look who's filming. Look who's filming. Say hi. What?
Oh, am I upside down? I don't know.
He has famous guy head right now, but he's also much closer to the camera. It's like
what
it's like when TJF did 3D. Whoa! I hope I don't get a Nerf gun.
What?
No, didn't say any of those things. When it comes to election, did I say this was stolen? No. Did I say that Donald Trump won the election? No. What I said was this is an address from where someone voted, and it doesn't exist. And I stand by that. That's a violation of the public square right now. This is now clear that conservatives, everyone out there who has an opinion that may be detrimental to this administration, and of course the people in big tech who support them, will no longer be allowed. It's very different from what happened before with the Vox Adpocalypse. And this is, by the way, use the hashtag Adpocalypse2. That's what's happening right now. Yeah, we've been fully demonetized. We expect that. The suspension doesn't make a lot of sense, and we haven't really heard back from anyone at YouTube. So we'll be streaming here in Crowder Bits tomorrow and Thursday, and I believe Monday. And I would ask that anyone out there, let people know that we're available on Crowder Bits.
Okay, so there you have it, y'all. That's what's going on, right? There are the allegations, or they said that he violated certain things like COVID guidelines and stuff that had to do with the election and all that. Now, I have to say this and speak on behalf of all YouTubers out there. All right. I am not a fan of Steven Crowder. In no way, shape, or form am I a fan of his show. I think he's a racist. I think his show is just trash. All right? Just a bunch of low-level, low-brow humor trash. Sophomoric, freshman, I mean, not even sophomoric, freaking high schoolish, junior high level comedy trash. Okay? I'm sorry. That's I'm trying to make that abundantly clear how I feel about his show. I love his platform. I love his show, the actual production of his show. I wish I had that kind of money. Whoo! I wish I had that kind of money. Man, can you imagine how much stuff I'd get done if I had that kind of funding and a set like that, bruh, I would destroy this channel. I would destroy this YouTube channel. But here it is. I don't agree with him being demonetized. And here's the reason. Freedom of speech. I think he's a racist piece of trash. I think he's a racist piece of trash. But at the same time, this happened to me too. I went to do a bunch of shows, giving you guys nothing but the hits. I was knocking things out the park. I was like, bang, 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 bang. I was knocking things out the park. We were hitting all the controversy. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. Then out of nowhere, in the middle of a show, boop, show gets flatlined. I get an email saying that I violated community guidelines. Not copyright guidelines, community guidelines. And I was grounded for a week. Literally. Show was grounded. We were banned from being able to post anything, do anything for a week. The show was building momentum. People were coming in, beautiful, wonderful human beings like yourselves that were tuning in, watching the show, all that stuff. Suddenly, out of nowhere, bloop, got cut off, okay? All because I talked about several different things that all had to cover things that happened on the 6th. Now I can't even say certain things in fear of getting these bots that are flying in, shutting me down. I don't like Steven Crowder's show. I repeat, I do not like Steven Crowder's show at all. I hate it. I hate its guts. I hate everything that it stands for. I think it's racist and trash, but he shouldn't be banned. Maybe demonetized. I'll give him demonetized, but banned? That's a little much. Everyone has a right to get on this platform and say whatever the hell they want within the confines of certain things. I feel like if you're going to go onto a channel and just spout out racist crap, I do think that, or you're trying to incite violence or something like that, you know what I mean, towards a certain group or towards a certain person, etc., you shouldn't be monetized. That ain't gangsta. Okay? That ain't gangsta. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. But being banned is another conversation. Being banned is another conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you in that regard. I'm never a fan of censorship, including demonetizing people that are getting ads through, an independent ad agency. If the ads don't want to support them, that's a different thing. But YouTube keeping them from it, I don't know. It's not really necessary. Though, at the same time, this guy he was demonetized for almost a year before for homophobic comments. So this is a little different in that he's already violated and been banned for almost a year. So this is like his second or third warning. It does make a little more sense at this point because he keeps...
At some point, he's going to be Alex Jones. At some point, he's going to be kicked off like Alex Jones. He won't be able to do anything except do his show where it is and all. And don't get me wrong, even when he was demonetized from YouTube, he was still making money. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when he violated those guidelines of, hate, like from his hate speech or whatever he did, he still made money. There were still people out there that were financially supporting him. He was still financially supported. He makes a lot of money. Look at his,
like I said yesterday.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I said yesterday, he has Blaze as well, which is, I think, where they get the majority of their income, these conservative channels. Yeah. Specifically ones like his that actually I got a thing from The Verge here because they contacted YouTube. So basically, there is a video they removed. It was making claims about Nevada and election stuff, and they were false claims. So they were the false claims he's just now saying that he never made, but he did make those, and that's why he got banned this time, it seems like. they got a response from YouTube, and YouTube said, in order to monetize on YouTube, channels must comply with the YouTube Partner Program policies, which include our community guidelines, Google AdSense program policies, and advertiser-friendly guidelines. Channels that repeatedly violate our policies are suspended from the Partner Program. In addition, we removed a video from Steven Crowder's channel for violating our presidential election integrity policy and applied a strike, meaning uploads are suspended for 1 week. So mostly these claims he's saying he didn't make, that he did make, is why he's getting banned, to
Facts.
be real. And he's just denying them, even though he did. There's video proof. There's video proof that they haven't deleted as well. I mean, they deleted that one video, but he still has other videos up if you want to go confirm for yourself that he said those things in the past.
He's said things multiple times. But he says those things because obviously he's doing everything he can to keep securing the bag and keep his audience happy. So he's going to say everything he can to go and sit there and say, oh, it was such and such. No doubt it was such and such. Or they agree with such, with the, number 45. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have to be careful about how I say things too, because this happened to me too. And the funny thing is that I wasn't even saying anything, y'all. Nothing. I was not supporting the election such and such. Real talk. It's so ridiculous I have to do such and such. But real talk, I didn't even do it. I was talking about it. I was covering a story, and I still got struck down for a week. You know that strike is still on? We still got that damn strike, bruh. They haven't even appealed that thing. They haven't even said yes or no. I ain't done nothing.
And we were just telling people who organized it, too. We weren't even talking about the claims, just who organized it.
It's ridiculous. We're talking about the person who did. We were doing, as Crowder says, investigative journalism up in this mother lover, and that's all we did. We didn't do anything else. All we did was tell the story. And then of course I'm sitting there roasting that dude looking like Sammy Davis Jr. on crack. You know what I mean? That's all I did. And we got shut down for that. So that's why a part of me, if I wasn't shut down, maybe I wouldn't feel this type of way. Maybe I wouldn't say anything like this right now. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously I wouldn't know this feeling. You feel me? I wouldn't be saying anything if I never went through this experience. I probably would have been like, yeah, bye. Boy, bye, Felicia. Like, I would have been like, bye, Crowder. See you later, deuces. But given the fact that this is the first time, or this is what happened to me now, and hopefully it will only be the only time that I get this kind of situation, I feel for Crowder. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. But I feel for Crowder because I've been there. But I don't have a platform where I have millions and millions of people who watch my show. Not yet, at least. So, with him, the one thing that's so great about this country, or about the internet and all that, you have a choice to come onto my show and listen to me talk. Listen to me and David talk. You know what I'm saying? There are other people, other channels, you have every right to listen to them, or you have every right to shut them off. That's what's so great about the freedom of choice, the freedom of speech, and all that. You don't have to listen to Crowder if you think he's just a piece of piece of crap. If you think he's trash, move on. There's other channels you could watch, right? And that's what's going on with him. It's like, as much as we want to sit here, as much as I want to sit here and rejoice and go, yay, Hercules, he gone, or he ain't making no monies off of YouTube. As much as I want to do that, the other part of me is like, nah, man. See, if this happened to me, which it has, how would I feel about this? I don't think it's fair. Being banned, demonetized is another conversation. Demonetized, I'm with it 100%. Banned, I think it's unfair. Like I said, if you're gonna sit there and say, colored farmers, or talk about Hennessy trees up in this piece, trying to make every sophomoric, junior high racist joke you can think of, for 3 minutes, man, you better go sit down somewhere and shut the hell up. And you better enjoy the fact that you still have a platform in which to speak on top of. Because real talk, if I was YouTube, I would have demonetized your ass a long time ago. And you would have had to find your money. Like you searching through your cushions in your couch trying to find 25 cents. Real talk. And piecing that all together with just panties that you found in the couch. Real talk. I wouldn't have time for it. So, demonetized, I'm cool with. Banned, I think it's trash. Because the other thing too, why is it that, and I understand that YouTube is vast. It's huge. There are millions and millions of minutes, millions and millions of videos and content that is being put up every single day, right? I get it. But why does it take them so long to find that thing? Why does it take so long for them to go, oh, there it is? Months later. I've seen people get their whole channel completely erased by YouTube because of saying something or doing something that they did a year before. And they're going, what the hell? So wait, I can't say anything? And then there are other times where they scoop you up. They scoop up stuff so fast. Oh, this video depicts such and such. Or this video shows this. This goes against this, that, and the third. This one's demonetized because it's, it's using music from this place. Bro, wow. You do that so quickly, but this other stuff, you're going, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. 7 months later. Sorry, you've been demonetized. Wait, what? You've been banned. Wait a second. Hold up. Time out. Wait a second. What did I do now? Oh, yeah. In 2019, you did a video about how you love ice cream. It goes against our guidelines now. Sorry, buddy. What? Had I known, if I had the freaking, a time machine, I would have known this. Made sure this was deleted beforehand or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. So like I said, Steven Crowder, okay. Him getting demonetized, I'm cool with. Him getting banned, I don't think so. The same thing with Twitter, with what's going on with him with Twitter. The whole purpose of having a platform like that is to be able to speak. As long as you're not inciting violence, you should be able to go on there and speak within the 150 characters. You know what I'm saying? David.
Yeah, I was going to speak more on the YouTube part of censorship.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not just a problem with channels like this, but it's important that it applies to everything, because otherwise they'll just continue to censor whoever they want ultimately to control their narrative. And this is a bigger problem than just political commentary shows. I mean, I watched these two channels, it's like Great War and there's another one, and they pretty much go through World War I and World War II week by week as they did back in the day. And they both got demonetized just because they cover that material, even though they're like a huge educational thing funded by the PBS and donators, and they still just completely demonetized because of the content they're discussing, even though it's just history and they're just reading news articles. So this is a huge problem with YouTube, and this is why I don't want to necessarily see censorship within YouTube expanding so quickly. Already, like I said, legitimate channels. This is why I'm not talking about Crowder in particular, because like the Great War channel and stuff, these are very legitimate channels done by like professors of history with PBS production and everything. And they're still got demonetized just because they're talking about terrible things other people did. And like Crowder managed to stay funded for an entire year despite him actually saying those things that got the war channels demonetized for talking about, like some of like they talk about Nazis saying something similar to what he said and they got demonetized, but he can just straight up say it and he doesn't get demonetized for a long time. And I like I said, I'm very wary of YouTube censorship. It does control the narrative to a huge degree, and it often misinforms people. Obviously, some things should be taken down that are promoting actual violence or promoting people to hate other people. But YouTube, like when it comes to censorship, it needs to be an all or nothing thing. And that includes people like Steven Crowder need to be protected in the same way. And I'm not talking about the First Amendment. I'm just talking about people being able to get information out there and have discussion that isn't hidden behind closed doors where it can just kind of fester and become even worse. I don't think censorship in this way is a great idea with Crowder or with legitimate informative channels. And like Pascal said, it happened to us. And I don't even think we were talking about our own political views during that video. We just talked about the leader of the event and how it went down, and we got banned for that. And all we were doing is trying to point out one of the main coordinators that caused all of this in the first place. And that indirectly caused that information to disappear. So there could be people now that don't even realize there's one individual out there who organized the vast majority of this. Yeah. And that's what happens when you start hiding information, because they can hide incorrect and bad information, but that gives them the same ability to hide information that is good or true and that they just don't want out there, or that doesn't necessarily make their platform look good to have out there.
Yeah. You know, even so, it's like this whole segment will most likely be taken off this show when this is over, out of fear of them trying to knock me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, this show is only... We're still in the embryo stage. You know what I mean? We're not even, we're not even at 50,000 plus subscribers yet. You know what I'm saying? We are still brand new. And there's so many things that even I want to be able to do, that I want to talk about and cover. And, that's the whole point of having this platform. That's the whole point of having this show, is to be able to talk about things. Yeah, poke fun at things in a tasteful way, unlike Crowder. Which he does very, very tasteless toilet humor type of stuff. But that's the fear, is not being able to talk about certain things, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to be the new thing, the new guideline that they're just going to throw up and say, oh, you can't do that now. Anytime you say transphobic, a bot hits you and suddenly you get hit. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I love YouTube. I appreciate this platform. I appreciate the channel. You know what I'm saying? But this is the frustrating part of it all, is that you can't talk about what you truly feel about certain things. But there's not really many other channels, many other platforms in which you can do that, by the way, if you really think about it. Facebook does the same thing. Shoot, we did a video last week where we were talking about something, and even that one was blocked because we stream, we simulcast on several different platforms all at the same time. Right, like right now we're on several different platforms. Same thing. Soon as something pops up, it's blocked or it's banned, because of whatever the conversations that is being covered and whatnot. Same thing with IG. You talk about something, next thing you know, you could have like a red flag pop up saying that you're, the content of this is not fully factual, or fact checkers have shown that, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, well, wait a second. We can't even talk freely. We can't even speak our minds. We're just getting slapped in the face with all this, with all these flags and all these, these red flags. It's unfair. It's unfair. We're supposed to be able to talk. We're supposed to be able to say and speak our minds within the confines of stuff, being respectful. You know what I'm saying? You got to be respectful. But if you're doing a whole channel, you're going, oh, don't you hate white people? The whole show is about how much you don't like a certain race. That's wrong. Just saying. So, like I said, Steven Crowder's situation, I'm not with the banning, even though I hate his ass. Oh my God, I don't like him. I don't like his show at all and what he stands for. There are other conservatives, there are other Republican platforms that I have mad respect for, right? Like just mad respect for. We do not, like, if we sat down across from each other, me and that said person that I have respect for, we could share a beer and have a good time. You know what I mean? We could share a drink and have a good conversation. We may not agree on our political views, but I still have respect for him. Crowder, I don't have any respect for, nor would I be able to be in the same room with him without wanting to, like, chew him out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of him, but I do think that his situation is unfortunate and I think is unfair. You know, there it is. Oh, I've seen Tommy Sotomayor's show. Woo! Have mercy. Lawrence, woo, boy. Boy, oh boy. That is another conversation in itself. That is a whole nother conversation in itself, baby. I don't agree with him either. I don't agree with that man either, man. I don't agree with him. I mean, I respect him. You know what I'm saying? I can respect somebody from afar, but I don't agree with him. Same with that guy, Jesse something Peterson or whatever his name is. Jesse, I keep on forgetting his name. I don't like him. You know what I mean? I don't like him at all. I don't like him at all. So there are people. Wait, Mark Jones, which show is he watching? You said your brother is watching his show. What show, Mark Jones? The Jesse Peterson show? Or the Sotomayor show? That's what I'd like to know. Let me know. I like Kevin Samuels. Oh, Sotomayor? Ooh, have mercy. Y'all need to go check him out sometime. His show is very interesting. And hey, and here it is. He has every right to have that platform and say what he wants to say. Because you want to know something funny? The reason why he has so many subscribers is because there are other people out there in this country or around the world that agree with what he says. Just like what with this show. Not everybody who watches this show agrees with this show. We already got a dislike on this show already. Clearly, there's somebody who does not agree with this show. But I have found a family that are willing to at least hear me out, willing to agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. But anyway, we got to jump into this next thing. We've been dwelling on this for too long. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We said what we said. Okay, but we got to jump into this story. Derek Chauvin, the Derek Chauvin trial. There is a lot of stuff that we've missed, and there were some things that I really wanted us to see for ourselves because, honestly, I think it's important that we see this, especially the one with Donald Wynn Williams when he is talking about, well, there's a bunch of different clips that I want to show you guys. This is from a day ago. This is from yesterday. They were in trial, and like I said, I'm going to be showing you clips throughout this entire thing. There was the female, the woman firefighter. That was a very interesting piece as well, because the way she was when the defense came up and was cross-examining her, how she was responding, and how the judge responded to her. It was very interesting. It just started getting really dicey near the end of her testimony. But this one is of Donald Wynn Williams. Mr. Williams, he is a former MMA fighter. He was watching everything. He was the main guy who was like trying to step up and trying to talk about everything, like trying to talk the cops and Derek Chauvin out of getting his, like trying to talk him into getting his knee off of George Floyd's neck, because at one point this poor man, George, was incapacitated. It was clear as day that you could see that he was in bad shape. Let's take a look at this.
Penalty of perjury. The testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do, sir. The gestures and the movements is from his shoulders and the top, and he's just doing it with his knees. Not, it's not an actual choke on with the hands out. He's actually putting the same pressure as you would with your neck. And like I said, every time his shoulder is moving, he's pushing that pressure down on his neck. He was going through distress because of the knee, and he vocalized it that I can't breathe, I need to get up, and I'm sorry. And his eyes slowly rolled to the back of his head. You seen the blood coming out of his nose. You heard him tell him before he stopped speaking that my stomach hurts, and those most of the times is the last bowel movement of your life. So from there on, he was lifeless. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He didn't have no life in him no more on his body movements. And you actually could hear him. You could see him struggling to actually gasp for air while he was trying to breathe.
So that's just one piece. There's more, because there's this thing that he said about a blood choke that I wanted us to see a little bit more of. He tries to explain it as best as he can, and it's just it's bad. So I want to show this to you guys here real quick, and it's a really great. Like, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain the said blood choke, but he tries to say and tries to describe it in the best way he can. And this part, I was just like, this is messed up. Y'all need to see this one. Here we go.
His toe is pointed down, and you will see a small gesture in his back foot like this. And that's just the pressure you push more down between his knee, George's head, and the concrete, and cut off circulation.
All right, and we'll continue on that, please.
Yeah, he just did it again.
Yep.
And we saw that movement there that moves the knee on
And
the
his foot, this time his foot came up off the ground, so no foot on the ground, so all the pressure is on his neck.
And you're talking about the foot on the same leg as the knee.
Yep, so, correct. So the same foot on the knee, so it's like this, it's a choke here, so this
there we go.
Is my neck here, and then for me to close this, I shimmy, I shimmy, I shimmy, I shimmy, I shimmy.
Yep.
And now I close the choke on the side of the neck.
And just for the
So really
record,
like shimmy.
sorry.
Yeah.
Just for the record, you're demonstrating with your arms on
Yep,
that.
I'm demonstrating with my arms, so that's choke, from neck here, and for instance, my neck would be from here, so I would have this across from here, then I'm closing it off here, pretty much the angle of his knee, and then every time I'm shimmying, I'm getting this right here to close the gap closer within my neck.
Yep.
And it's the same way that you can do without having the neck across here.
So we'll continue on with the video then.
So, like, basically, as he was trying to show in the example, you could see Derek Chauvin try to grind basically his knee into the back of his neck, into the back of Floyd's neck. The more he did that, right? The more he did that, the tighter he was getting, basically. That's what he means by shimmying. He was just slowly grinding, trying to get in there as much as he can, so that, because eventually the body, right? Eventually the body is going to stop trying to, it's going to loosen up. It's going to loosen up, like, especially when you're fighting off as much as you can. Doesn't matter how strong a person is. Eventually that person's going to let off. You know what I mean? Start to slowly weaken. So he was just grinding on him. He was grinding his knee in the back of his neck as much as he could for as long as he could, while George instinctively was trying to fight it off. But eventually, when you are literally stomach down, handcuffed with your hands behind your back, you can't do anything. Eventually, you start to let go because your body just can't hold that pose, that movement any longer. And when you have somebody in a dominant position like that, all they're doing is slowly, just like I said, like he was saying, they're shimmying, they're slowly grinding in there for as much as they can, for as long as they can, until that person gives up. And that is what Derek Chauvin did. Oh, what do you say, David? Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm glad he brought up some of these points because one of the things that I haven't really seen people talk about, but during the time that Chauvin was killing George Floyd, just because of the way he was standing with his knee on his neck, and like his entire lever arm, which is just like a physics terms of where your force is applied,
right,
is pretty much everything is going into his knee because he doesn't. Just because of the position he's in, he doesn't have a stance to actually hold his weight up. So all of his weight is going through his knee directly onto George Floyd's throat or skull or neck or whatever, but it's definitely on his spine. And he does bring up another point that I did want to elaborate a little bit on, but he talks about how basically with the chokehold, it's done by like repeated compressions to try and get in there and get that right pressure. But this is a thing that also probably killed George Floyd. You might notice this if you've ever, I don't know, driven down a super steep hill or something, or like if you go off-roading. But like, you know, your seatbelt won't let you go forward, so it gets tight. And each time you breathe in, your chest gets smaller and the belt gets tighter until it's trying to suffocate you. That's why you have like 8-point belts. But this is the same exact thing that's happening here. So each time he's taking a breath or each time his heart pumps, a little bit of that pressure is released and it causes more of his chest to crush down and more of his neck to crush down. And so each time he exhales and inhales, that pressure coming from the knee is just becoming stronger and not letting him breathe or letting his blood flow correctly.
Exactly. And then eventually the man perishes or passes out. The man passes out. But as you can see, Derek Chauvin didn't give a damn that he passed out. He just kept staying on him as the man was passed out. Dude was incapacitated and he was still digging his knee into the man's neck. Take a look.
He just did it again.
See, he's doing it again and again. See that? I'm gonna play it back just one more time because it's very, 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 very small. The movement is extremely small, but it's deadly. Look at his knee.
Did it again.
Look at his foot.
He did it again.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man. I will. Get up, get in the car.
It's just a small gestures, and then you'll see his shoulders slowly swag. Sorry.
See that?
So,
oh, sorry about that.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll wait. Now we've stopped the video at this portion, and if you could just explain what you're seeing here.
Correct.
That leads you to believe this is a shimmy type move.
Correct. So explain now.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So the gestures and the movements is from his shoulders and the top, and he's just doing it with his knees. Not, it's not an actual choke on with the hands. So he's actually putting the same pressure as you would with your neck. And like I said, every time his shoulder is moving, he's pushing that pressure down on his neck from the shoulders to the knees, all the way from his ankle. And you will see his shoulder shift, and then you'll see the bottom of his knee shift, and his foot come off. The one time he took his foot off the ground and put multiple pressure. Now his foot's not on the ground. He's driving off his far foot.
And, as you're seeing this, are you also seeing things on Mr. Floyd's face that you testified to earlier?
I'm just going to say this because this video is almost over, but you cannot tell me that any of these jurors are trying to think of reasonable doubt right now. There's no way. There's no freaking way, especially with this witness right here.
Correct.
All right. So let's continue with the video then.
God, I hope not. God.
I can't.
Look at that. See, you can see it in his shoulder. You can see it in his shoulder, just like he just explained. You can see it in his shoulder, how he's kind of leaning in. You can see the foot moving, like, you know what I mean? Like moving back and forth like this, you know what I'm saying? Because he's grinding in there. He's trying to apply pressure, even more pressure, and he's grinding with his knee. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
You can't win. My knee. You can't win, man. I'm through. I know you didn't never you didn't listen. That's the movie. My stomach hurts.
So, there's that piece. There's that piece, y'all. Sorry, this stuff. I mean, even like as much as you watch it, you see it 100 times, it still gets me. You know what I mean? It still gets me. But as you can see, I mean, I think that this is their star witness. I'm gonna be real. This is their star witness. Donald Wynn Williams, ex-MMA fighter, sat there and just explained it all. I mean, he said it, and you see it in the video. This is not like some fabricated crap. Of course, you know, the defense is going to sit there and try to find anything under the sun that they can find. But there was this other one of the firefighter. There were two pieces with the firefighter, so I'm going to show you one piece because there is one part that I think that we need to see, which is, of course, the prosecutor cross-examines the firefighter, and it's just what she says about everything. It's really tough, but let's take a look at this one.
When you first approached, you said you identified yourself as a firefighter.
Correct.
To whom did you identify yourself?
To Officer Tao, controlling the scene. I spoke loudly enough that I would think that the other three officers would have been able to hear me throughout the event.
We know you weren't. Well, let me ask you this way. How did Officer Tao respond?
He said something along the lines of, if you really are a Minneapolis firefighter, you would know better than to get involved.
What did you think of that?
First, I was worried that he wasn't going to believe me and not let me help. And I also, that's not right. I mean, that's exactly what I should have done. There was no medical assistance on scene, and I got there, and I could have given medical assistance. That's exactly what I should have done.
So based on your training and experience and what you had seen, what did you want to do for this person on the ground?
Had they let me into the scene, I already had decided what his level of consciousness was, so I would have requested additional help. I would have wanted someone to call 911 for the paramedics and fire to come. I would have asked someone to run to the gas station and look for an AED. And I would have checked his airway. I would have been worried about a spinal cord injury because he had so much weight on his neck. I would have opened his airway to check if there were any obstructions. And I would have checked for a pulse. And when I didn't find a pulse, if that was the case, I would have started compressions. And I didn't have my bed bag, so I would have continued compressions. We don't give mouth to mouth anymore. So I would have continued compressions at a rate of 100 a minute until help arrived.
And by compressions, what do you mean?
I would have put my hands, stacked my hands and pressed his chest.
Chest compressions.
Chest compressions,
yep.
Correct, yeah.
And what's the point of doing chest compressions?
Pumping the blood for somebody that's not doing that themselves, trying to get a pulse back.
And were you able to do that, any of those steps?
No, sir.
Why weren't you able to do any of that?
Because the officers didn't let me in to the scene. I also offered, in my memory, to walk them through it, or told them, if he doesn't have a pulse, you need to start compressions.
Just so you guys know, this is the prosecutor. This is the basically the state cross-examining the firefighter. So this is basically George Floyd's side. Let's just say, you know what I mean? Go ahead, David.
And one of the things with the law in that area is, we talked about this a couple months ago, but basically if an officer has held someone in a chokehold in that area, they're supposed to hand them off once they're subdued, either to a medical officer or some sort of EMS responder. And he didn't do that, so the guy was subdued. And technically, by law, he was supposed to hand him off to someone else for control, and he was supposed to inform them that they were choked so that they could possibly get medical aid if there were any problems with that. And that is what's supposed to happen right after the arrest. Arguably, what he did, though, was just he refused to get off the guy even after he was dead. So they basically just forced her not to do her job by doing that.
Yep. Even though she was off duty, she still could have gone in and done something. Let's hear the rest of this. We got like less than a minute left. Let's check it out.
And that wasn't done either.
And so are these things that you wanted to do?
It's what I would have done for anybody.
When you couldn't do that, how did that make you feel?
Totally distressed.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson, as I told you, we can take our time, so feel free to just take a minute. And need a drink of water, go ahead.
You got to remember, this is coming from somebody who is used to seeing. This is a woman who's been in active duty for 2 years as a firefighter and a EMS, right? Or EMT, I'm sorry. So you got to remember that this is somebody who is used to seeing death. I mean, if you've been in this line of work, you've seen a thing or two, right? Doesn't even matter if you've been in the job for a few months. You've seen a thing or two, and they get you ready and accustomed to those kinds of things so that you are, you're ready to perform. You're ready to get the job done. There's no emotion involved. You get in, you get the job done, you save lives, you go on to the next thing that you got to go do, right? You go off and live your life so you can save another day, right? And look how emotional this woman's getting. Strip that. Look how emotional this firefighter is getting. This first responder is getting. Because she knows that she could have done something to save that man's life. This is beyond the job for her now. This is visceral. This is personal now. Because she could have done something and they didn't let her do a damn thing. That's messed up. Now, there's a bunch of things she could have done, I'm sure. All of us are going to sit, not all of us, a lot of us will sit there and go, oh, no, well, she should have flashed some credentials to show that she's actually, a EMT. Sure, she could have done that. She definitely could have done that. But did they even ask for her credentials? No. She's sitting there going, I see that this man is incapacitated, that you are killing him. Let off his neck. They totally ignored him. They totally ignored her. What do? Homeboy, as Derek Chauvin, homeboy, that's what I was saying, referring to homeboy. According to Donald Wynne Williams, homeboy was grinding his knee into that man's neck deeper and deeper and deeper, slowly but surely. Like, think of like a boa constrictor. You know what I'm saying? They get their grasp and then they get tighter and tighter. And the more you wiggle, the tighter they get until they don't feel you wiggle no more. That's basically what he did, what Derek Chauvin did. It's insane. And you got a woman that was off duty that could have saved that man's life. She was feet away from him. Feet away from him. So that's why she's getting emotional. Because she could have done her damn job. Those guys could have stepped back because clearly the dude wasn't going to get up and run away. She could have done chest compressions. She could have done a slew of different things just to at least try to resuscitate the man. And she couldn't. It's an absolute damn shame. There is a part that I wanted to show from her side. Because as you saw, she definitely pleaded with them. I gotta like do a little bit of a deep dive here, guys. Hold on. But that's it, like I said. The fact that you have somebody that is speaking in regards to something that is within her line of work, and she's getting choked up and pulling out the tissues and all that. I mean, that says a lot. That says a lot about how real and how visceral and how intense those feelings were. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Trying to pull this up. Because there's a part in this where the defense is talking, and it is interesting. So we got to take a look at this one. And then the judge intervenes, which is very interesting.
Would it refresh your recollection to review the transcript of your statement?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Hold
Would
on.
you dispute me if I told you that
Hold on, let me scroll that back just a squidge.
statement at all?
I had the opportunity to, but I didn't.
Okay. You never read the transcript of your statement or anything?
I chose not to.
I just want to ask you a few questions. You said that Officer Tao at some point said if you're really a firefighter, you should know better.
Correct.
Have you been to other scenes where people are trying to interfere with police officers doing their jobs?
No, not really. Not that I can recall.
Do you remember telling the agents that you believed that Officer Chauvin had his hands in his pocket?
Vaguely remember saying that.
Do you recall telling the agents that you were pretty certain the fluid was coming from Mr. Floyd's body, and that's what made you think he was dead?
I'm sure I said that. Pretty sure.
She wants nothing to do with the
recall
defense.
Describing the crowd as a heavy crowd?
No, I don't recall.
Would it refresh your recollection to review the transcript of your statement?
I don't want to.
Okay. Would you dispute me if I told you that you told the agents it was a heavy crowd?
No, I guess not.
What's funny is you can see, like, she's like, why does this have anything to do with anything? Look at that. Look at the look on her face right now. She's like, what? What does this have anything to do with it? The defense is trying to find something. They're trying to find anything to throw either herself under the bus or to use as a, oh, here are the reasons why everything's going on, such and such. Go ahead. What were we going to say, David?
Never mind.
Oh, okay. But I think it's just very interesting that she's sitting here going like, this has not, why are you asking me this? Because this has nothing to do with anything that's going on. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is basically he's just fishing. He's looking for,
he's fishing.
Like you said, yeah, anything he can hold on to because like some people said in chat already, basically the drug defense is really the only thing the defense has to go for. Because in pretty much every other situation, there's, I mean,
they gotta get that.
That's
corner.
Just their only other thing. Every other thing you could say you have video proof that he's doing things in the wrong way. So the drug thing is really their only defense, and they're just trying to find something else because they would have to prove that the meth entirely on its own killed him, and the knee on the neck didn't have anything to do with it, but obviously the knee on the neck did have a big part of it.
Right.
So I think they're just trying to find something like trying to put a liability on somebody else to suggest that Chauvin and his compatriots were not responsible for what happened, even though they had.
Remember, they did also say in the opening statements, on Monday's opening statements, they even said in the opening statements that there was the crowds that were surrounding them were so big and so chaotic that they couldn't fully that the cops could not fully do their job. Literally, that was part of their opening statements. That was part of their opening statement. Real talk. And you're like, wow, you're really saying that. Okay, that's and so now they're trying to find that right now, which is why they said, hey, do you remember saying that there was a thick crowd, or it was getting thick in there? I don't know what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
I mean,
right?
you can watch the videos. There's like 5 people that are directly talking to the police because they're not that like crowded. They're really not that crowded in. There were people having conversations with them, telling them that they're going too far, and they were basically threatened by the police to not say or do anything about it. At least from the videos that they've released, they weren't like pressed in by a large group or anything. They had plenty of space to work. I mean, Chauvin came in on his own after the initial thing started and just walked right up and started all of that. So obviously, the traffic wasn't impeded too much because it didn't prevent him from getting there.
Yeah, okay. Let's continue because it does get very interesting here very shortly. Clearly, she ain't having none of this. Clearly, y'all.
Do you recall after paramedics took Mr. Floyd and then you had a conversation with the firefighters that arrived, how you described the physical appearance of Mr. Floyd?
I don't recall.
You recall telling them that he...
I don't want argument. What's your grounds? Sustained. You may impeach if you wish.
All right. I know you don't want to look at your transcript, but may I approach the witness?
Man, it's hilarious because he's like, look, I got this transcript about to prove you wrong on what you said. This is such trash, man. She saw what she saw. She said what she said. This is so annoying, man. Real talk, this is annoying as hell. She's like, and? Hands on the hips, reading, and so.
Does that refresh your recollection of this conversation?
Yeah.
Did you describe Mr. Floyd as a small, slim man?
Overruled.
Yeah, it appeared to, with 3 grown men on top of somebody, it appeared that he was small and frail.
Okay, you see what they're trying to do? They're trying to discredit her as a viable witness, trying to discredit her as a firefighter, EMT, etc. They're trying to make it seem like her recollection or her commentary, right, during the event is not credible at all. That's literally what they're trying to do right now. That's what the defense is trying to do. They're trying to debunk everything that she said. Because when the prosecutors came up and they cross-examined her, they painted her up as a first responder, a viable witness, etc. She even showed up in her firefighter uniform, right? To make her even that more credible, right? That was the approach. Now, defense is trying to come in and they're trying to tear it all down, saying she is not a credible witness at all. She said this, that, the third. She said, hey, the place was thick. The area was thick. They said that she said that this was a slender, small man. They're trying to discredit everything now. BS, y'all. But this is what the lawyers are doing. They're lawyering, okay? They are esquiring right now. They're trying to find those little things that they can find. They're trying to find those little holes that they can pass through. You know what I'm saying? Like a damn rodent.
But I know that not to be
there's
true,
no
obviously.
question.
I was finishing my answer.
Please go back into the courtroom. Counsel remain. Witness remain.
Here we go.
Okay, just a quick explanation of what's going on here. Judge Cahill said earlier that he would go as late as 5 o'clock so that a witness can finish up rather than stopping at 4:30 and making them come back the next day. So it's sounding like they want to finish up with this witness tonight.
Ms. Hanson, I'm advising you, do not argue with counsel, and specifically, do not argue with the court.
Is the cameras off? Are the cameras off?
No, they are not. We are on the record.
Okay.
You will not argue with the court. You will not argue with counsel.
Mm-hmm.
They have the right to ask questions. Your job is to answer them.
I was finishing my answer.
I will determine when your answer is done.
Okay, well,
And so, do not argue with the court. Do not argue with counsel. Answer the questions. Do not volunteer information that is not requested. The attorneys for the state have redirect. They can ask you questions if they think that certain things were left out.
okay.
It is counsel's prerogative to ask you leading questions and for you to answer those and not volunteer additional information.
Okay.
Are we clear on this?
We're clear.
Thank you. Come back tomorrow at 9:30.
All right. Good night.
All right. I feel like that's enough that we could see of this situation. Obviously, she ain't having it. And of course, they're trying to do everything they can. The defense is trying to do everything they can to try to debunk her testimony. And they're trying to find that, they're trying to find that needle in the haystack. Man, they're trying to find not even a needle. They're trying to find like I don't even know. I'm trying to find a better example. I guess they are trying to find that needle in a haystack. I'm trying to think of something that's smaller than a needle. Thinner and smaller than a needle. You know what I'm saying? That's
trying to find a grain of sand in the desert.
Thank you.
Grain of
Yes.
sand.
Like a grand of a black speck of sand. You know what I'm saying? In the desert. You know what I'm saying? Like they're really searching. They're gonna try to find anything they can so that they can discredit that witness to make it seem like that person's off. Like I'm really, really happy so far that the witnesses that have shown up so far have not shown up acting all crazy. You know what I'm saying? You always expect that, like in a Perry Mason movie or like Law and Order, there's always that unhinged witness that gets up there and says all crazy stuff. They might be telling the truth, but they come off all crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, if they only just stayed not so crazy for 1 second and just did the testimony and did that crazy stuff outside the courtroom. We would have won that case. But so far, the witnesses that have come in have been very level-headed and have said what they needed to say. Clearly, you could see that woman, I think it was Genevieve, you could tell Miss Genevieve Hanson is not having it. She ain't cool with it. She is tired of it, and she's not dealing with any of that ish. Real talk.
I think their play might have backfired here a little bit. Like, they're trying to discredit her. But it is a statistical fact that juries just do trust women, especially white women, more than they trust most other witnesses. So this could work.
Even a black guy, even a black MMA fighter that has experience in knowing how to choke somebody the F out, they're just sitting there trying to discredit the dude too. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You were saying, David? Sorry.
Yeah, so I think this might backfire on them pretty much the way they directed it with her. I mean, she was giving more information than she's supposed to, but to the jury, it's probably going to look like the defendant and the judge are teaming up on her in this case. Because like I said, it's just the fact that white women in court, especially when they cry, just the jury believes them more. I mean, it's more people believe them in general more, not just the jury. So this could backfire on them. Like now they're seeing this EMT and firefighter and she's trying to describe what her job was to do there, and it kind of like she's not necessarily supposed to have that information, but it does kind of look like they're attacking her, even if they're doing their job. So I could see this working against them. I think people will be more sympathetic with her story than the others, just because she was more emotional and she came across as more vulnerable, which is more likely people are going to believe somebody in that situation than they would a defendant trying to discredit her, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean,
so,
even so, the Donald Williams did get emotional as well. He got choked up, teary-eyed when he was listening to the 911 call that he made because he called the cops on the cops. Same thing with this witness as well. She made the same 911 call as well, saying, "Hey, somebody needs to get here and get the cops off the cops, or get these cops off this poor man." Pretty much, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's freaking crazy.
And I mean, this is more just like trying to use statistics for an individual case, but in general, her testimony will probably be believed more than most other people. That just seems to be how it goes. Like, I'm not being facetious when I say white women crying do have the most power of the jury, at least statistically speaking. So even though the guy before her, the black gentleman, his testimony was probably more technically useful, the jury's more likely just to listen to her just because of that's usually how it plays out, by a large margin too. So it's unfortunate. I mean, it might not be the case in this particular jury. They might have got a great jury here. But it's definitely possible that they're going to be more influenced by that than anything. I think just her, because that is how, unfortunately, it works out. And it is kind of sad that it might be testimonies from white women that have the most effect in a trial about a black man being murdered. But that is, at least if you're just looking at court statistics, that is most likely how it is going to play out.
Those are going to be the breaks, right? And well, there were other testimonies as well. There were some kids that came in and did their testimony. We couldn't see them because of they're minors 1 and 2. They just wanted to conceal their identity and everything. But at the same time, those children did come up and testify as well on their firsthand experience of watching George Floyd expire in front of them as well. So there was that conversation that happened, that testimony as well. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. Like I said, there's more and more people that are testifying even today. The day 3 has officially started already. But like I said, this is just, we're going to do everything we can to keep you guys updated on the things that are going on with this trial. But as much as it's tough. Like I said, it's really, really tough that we're having to deal with this, having to to talk about this, tell these stories, as I like to say. But unfortunately, I feel like, not unfortunately, fortunately, the stories that are being told very much lean towards guilty. So far, defense has come in and they're reaching. Bruh, they reaching. They reaching like a mother lover, okay? They reaching so hard, I don't even know what they're reaching for. They're grasping for straws. And I'm hoping that the mixed ragtag group of jurors that they've put together, right, can see that too. That's what I'm hoping for. I really am hoping that they're listening to these witnesses. These key witnesses, they're so far are good. I think it's all going to go down to this. The coroner, the autopsy. When they start bringing in those people or person for their testimony, it's going to come down to the science. It's going to come down to what really caused him to die. What really caused X, Y, and Z to happen. Watch. Wait for it. That's what I think is going to be the final nail in the coffin, if you will. One last thing before we take off, because we got to run here. There is one thing that I wanted to pull up here. If I have it, I hope I do. I thought I did. Hold on one second. I thought I had it. Oh, no. Oh, no. One second, guys. Yep, I found it. Boom. Okay, so you guys are all really amazing, because the thing is that without your help, without us all going out there and being detectives, digital detectives and social media sleuths, we wouldn't have found, or they wouldn't have found the man who actually kicked and beat up that Asian woman outside of a New York City hotel. I think that's what she was in front of. This man, the man that we talked about yesterday, has been arrested. His name is Brandon Elliott. By the way, just so you know, he is on lifetime parole for stabbing his mother to death in 2002. So just so you know, this dude already been crazy. This dude already crazy. All right, this is the same dude that kicked down that poor 65-year-old Filipino woman, kicking her savagely in the face in New York City yesterday. Of course, we talked about this whole the video and how the security guards and the FedEx dude were just sitting there chilling, closing the door on the girl as she lays there bleeding out. Well, they finally arrested the man, and like I said, he is on lifetime parole for stabbing his mother to death in 2002. I want to point something out too. He was wearing a red apron. Like, there was other angles that were showing that he was wearing a red apron. My question is, who in their right mind, I'm going to show you guys this photo one more time, because this is a much better photo of this dude right here. Man, come on, go away. All right. This is a much better photo of the dude. But if you notice, he is wearing a red apron underneath this pink cardigan sweater. I guess he was wearing his Cosby sweater. But yes, he is wearing a red apron. So my question to everyone is, who would fire this dude? I mean, who would hire this dude? Sorry. Who the hell would hire this dude? ¿Por qué? Why would you hire a guy who's on parole, a lifetime parole, from stabbing his mother to death? That's his own kin. You feel me? That don't make no sense, y'all. Stabbed her to death, and is on lifetime parole.
I just question how you get lifetime parole for stabbing your mother to death, because I would think that would signify someone that's not safe to be in the public at all.
Facts.
Not on parole, but like stay in jail.
How would you have a job? How would you have a job? How would you have a job? How would you have a job after stabbing your mom to death? I'm just curious. How do you do that? How do you have a job, Mr. Elliott? How? He's wearing a red apron, so he clearly got a job somewhere. He got a job somewhere. Lifetime parole, y'all. Yes, you wish. You right. Lifetime parole. LOL. Facts. Lifetime parole. He got a job somewhere. He's a contributing member to society. And as he's walking home, kicks the woman down, kicks her in the head, stomps her head into the ground multiple times, and then walks off. Now he's been arrested. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he just goes to jail and he's gone for good. Because clearly he's not, as you said, David, he is not he's a danger to himself and to others. So hopefully he will be gone here in the very near future. But there you go. Mr. Elliott has been detained and arrested, which is really, really great. That is great news. But like I said, that's how amazing, how quick that this stuff turns around. You feel me? That's why this internet stuff is amazing, and then it sucks at the same time, because sometimes it just comes back to bite you in the ass, like Sweetie and Quavo in the elevator debacle. It seems like they were fighting literally over a PS5. I'm not kidding. I think they were fighting over a PS5. I think they were fighting over a PS5. Like, you really got to fight over a PS5 like that? Real talk? It's just a PS5. But anyway. David, thank you so much for being on today. I really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. It's a good show.
Good show today. You know what I mean? We got through it. I want to say thank you to everybody who came on today. I really do appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. You guys are freaking fantastic. I will be on tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like I said, it's going to be kind of a hybrid show. So tonight will be a half show for everybody. And then the other half of the show is going to be specifically for members only. So I just want to let you guys know about that, okay? So just a fair, fun heads up. Please be sure to tune in tonight. It'll be open for everybody. And then the second half will be open up for members only. If you haven't done it yet, please hit that join button. Like I said, $5 a month helps fuel this show, helps support the show, do what we do best, which is giving you guys the stories. And of course, you know, keeps us motivated to keep giving you guys more stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got some other things that I'm working on this week as well, which is going to be fun and chaotic. And I think you guys will really appreciate it as well. So yeah, man, if you can, hit that join button, support the show. If you can, I'd really, really appreciate it. If not, it's all good. I ain't mad at you. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at you. But if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. I'd love to see you guys get past 100 likes before I sign out. That would really, really mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's time to dip set. I appreciate all y'all. Really, I do really, really appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for being on, being a part of the conversation. Like I said, I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for a hybrid show. So for those of y'all who are part of the members, Pascal Show family membership, please be sure to get your Skypes up and downloaded and ready to go, because we will be Skyping and conversating tonight, and it should be a good time. So anyway, I'll see you guys tonight. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. I'll see you guys soon. Hold on. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.